a bang. All them having cars now, whichever get up. Light up my card with a sweet one bliss. Someone flips me a bag it. So, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strong, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to episode 14 of Crossroads in Boxing with myself, CJ Spate, and my main man over there, Eric ERF. How are you doing? Is you okay?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. One second.
Finally tuning in the last bits.
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I had it played in the background, but go on. I could hear you twice.
We're got a lot to talk about tonight. Main thing we will be going through is the heavy impact card that was on last weekend. So we'll dissect most of the fights from that. Always good to get your thoughts as well if anyone's tuning in. Firstly, we'll just go to a little bit of advertisement from our sponsor, D-Rock Clothing.
Wow, you caught me off guard.
Hello, guys. Sorry to catch you off guard, Ez.
Nah, we're back. We're good. I'm good. I'm ready. I've been setting this up, and I'm pretty proud of myself today. Actually, I'm pretty proud of myself. Let's see. Hopefully, we can go without a hiccup today. But
touch wood.
Let's do it. We've got. I tell you what, Crossroads in boxing is moving quickly. We've got a lot going on. Myself and CJ, we've got a lot of things in the pipeline. We've actually recruited a new member, which we will be revealing. He'll be on next week with us. Hopefully he's a bit busy right now, but he is Ricky Hand. He's going to be getting involved in the shows. We met myself and CJ. He's also going to be doing some articles, some columns for iBoxingHub as well. For iBoxingHub North, we will be up here in Yorkshire. We're trying to build a team of boxing fans, basically. We've managed to get Ricky on board. He's excited about starting, as we are about having him on as well. He's done an absolute amazing job on the heavy impact review. He's done an article which we will be posting on my Facebook, CJ's Facebook, Ricky's as well, and also the iBoxingHub Twitter as well. We'll be posting that tonight. I'm going to get that posted so people can break down, but we will go through the fights today. Myself and CJ. CJ, how are you doing?
Good, thank you, man. Very busy, boxing wise, and outside of boxing. Just busy at home in general. Easter holidays, isn't it, mate? As you'll know.
Yeah.
It's a bit manic for everybody. But yeah, just seconding that, pal. Ricky Hand, great bloke. I met him at Steffi Bull's gym when I first started there as a trainer. Really good trainer as well. One of them thinks outside the box, very different. No two things are the same. As much as you agree with someone, you can always tell his stuff is thinking it slightly differently and doing different angles of things. It's always good to get people's point of view, people's perspective like that with you. As I say, he's done a great article on the heavy impact segment. So it's great to have him on board. Another Yorkshire lad on the team. Brilliant, mate.
Yeah, we're growing. If anybody in Yorkshire looking to do anything like this, hit me, myself, CJ up. We are looking for people who are interested in just boxing fans, interested in the media side, doing some media work, and
absolutely
also just giving your opinion. Just that's all what we do here. We want organic opinions. We want We want boxing fans' opinions. We're not worried about. We're not here to disrespect anybody, but we want everyone's genuine opinion on the fights, on the fighters, and what we think. We want this to be an interactive show with people in the chat. We want to hear your opinions as well on everything. And this is how we're going to do. We're going moving forward. Tonight we are going with a heavy impact card. I think the first fight we're going to go for is the Majid versus Murphy fight.
Yeah.
I think that fight for me,
absolute cracker.
Absolute. For me, it was the fight of the night on the card. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fight we didn't really speak about before because I didn't know too much about these two guys. But they certainly put a show on. They put an absolute masterclass of a show on. I think it was back and forth the whole fight. It was back and forth. Majid getting the win, the unanimous decision. I think it was the right winner. If you don't know which two fighters we're talking about, it's these two. I think Majid was the rightful winner of that. What did you make of that fight?
And that just nipping on that as well. This is also the beauty of adding more people to the team is that actually just flicking through Ricky's view of it. Ricky's wrote the article for it. He's actually just put underneath at the bottom. I actually feel like Murphy won that fight. So again, just brilliant to have other points of views and obviously with the state of the judging at the minute anyway, you do never know at certain times.
Exactly. Go on.
Go on. Sorry. Brilliant fight. We didn't speak on it much. Again, we didn't know too much about either fighter, so there's only so much you can comment. Two undefeated fighters. The pace never stopped. Murphy, I believe, sat on Majid quite a lot, even though Majid he definitely landed the better punches throughout the fight. And
Majid was the cleaner puncher.
You could see Murphy's head getting snapped back then a few times, and those are the things what judges do look for. I'd love for that fight to be run back after seeing that. That definitely deserves a rematch if that's what Murphy wants.
Yeah, I think a rematch. Maybe I don't think the decision was controversial to a point. I thought the fight was certainly a 50-50 fight throughout the rounds. I thought the rounds was very competitive. Like you said, Murphy sat in the pocket. He was at all action. I think Majid landed the better shots, the cleaner shots. You could see when Majid landed, you could see when Murphy was getting caught. Whereas Murphy's work, he was to the body. I thought was great work. I thought both fighters did good work to the body. To be quite honest with you, I had Majid just nicking it, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd called it a draw. That was one when the final bell went. I was in anticipation of how the judges actually scored it. I can't remember the scorecards. I think the scorecards was quite close. I don't think they were wide. But Majid got the UD on that one. Like I said, both fighters, yet again, this is Crossroads, and we like to talk about both fighters, winner or loser, where they'll go. And I think Murphy's definitely put himself in the window there to say, "Yep, I've got something to add to this boxing scene."
Absolutely. Who would you like to see Majid box next?
What weight was that? Let me see. I don't remember what weight it was.
Let's go to Majid now. I actually seen the article myself.
I can't remember what weight it was at.
Let me get that up. But yeah, it was an absolutely fantastic fight. And sometimes the ones that you know least about, or the ones that you sort of not ignoring, but it's just going to be on and you're waiting for the main events, they do actually turn out to be your best fights. And that is absolutely what went on in that show tonight. Majid is super lightweight.
Super lightweight. I mean, those two are what? British level. Just coming up to British level, really. Majid, 27 years old. Murphy's only 24. They've got a long way to go. The scorecards, I've got it here. It was 96, 94, 97, 94, 96, 95. So very close on the scorecards. I think it was. I wouldn't mind a rematch, but I want to see both guys sort of build from this fight. Move on and build from this fight. I'm not sure who they should fight next, really, because we've got Majid at 15-0. With Murphy, I think 14-1 now or something like that. But I would like to see both guys back. I will be looking for the names when Frank gets them back out.
Absolutely.
I most definitely be looking for those two. What was the next fight on that card? I think we had your big hope.
Is it Delicious?
We got Delicious Ori. So before last week when we spoke on Delicious Ori, you had high hopes for him. Why are you laughing?
Come on, because I'm waiting for you to twist the knife here.
No. You had high hopes for him. You had a lot of good things to say about him. Obviously, coming from the amateurs, he is touted to do quite a lot. I think Frank is a massive fan of his. Obviously, he had a WWE contract apparently. He could have gone to WWE and stuff like that. But he's chose boxing and he's chose to go pro. He's got his first fight out of the way. He's got the win. What did you make of his performance?
So when I've done like a little bit of scribbling down, and after fights like we do, I've got my little notebook and take it everywhere. My headline for that one was Delicious in a very unsavoury performance. He showed a bit of his skill set, a bit lackluster with the punches. I thought his shot selection wasn't fantastic. He seemed to have no venom whatsoever. If ever there was a heavyweight that was ready to be taken out of there, I think Milos Veletic was the man for that job. I mean, he was so out of shape. I don't think he went down to the body as much as he should have done. I mean, the flesh around the middle. I mean, Charlotte had got a couple of big hooks down there would have ended him. I'd like to think.
Yeah. For me, my assessment of it was a rabbit in the headlights. Really, that's how I assessed it. Not only on the performance itself, just on his demeanor, even in the corner. Every time he went to the corner, he was unsure of himself. He kept saying to Grant, "Oh, I'm rushing it, aren't I? And he was seemingly trying to be perfect whilst overthinking it. I think it was, you could see it was an overly fought contest from him.
Yeah.
He was like you said, the body was there all night. I think I remember him throwing one body shot. Quite honestly, he was head hunting, and when I say head hunting, it sounds like he was just throwing loads of shots to the head. He was too cautious. I think a guy of that size, of that build, he's built like Adonis. Let's be honest, he's a big guy. And like I said, his opponent was there to be taken out. He was throwing one shot at a time. It was the same straight jab, right hand over and over again. He didn't change. The guy had his guard down the most of the fight, just leaning against the ropes. He wasn't throwing anything back. I think he should have done a lot more. Looking at obviously Olympic prospects coming through, past prospects coming through, you put an AJ on his debut, a Daniel Dubois on his debut, a Joe Joyce on his debut, a Moses Atomo on his debut against that guy. and I believe they get him out of there just simply because they would be more confident in the work. They'd be bullish in that fight rather than so cautious about the jab and keeping distance. It seemed like he was trying to keep his form more than hurting this guy.
Yeah, I think when I'll use heavyweight boxing because we're on about Delicious here, but when a lot of prospects, if you like, turn over, we seem to get stuck in this like trivia of slowly, which in some cases is absolutely bang on. You know, take Fabio Wardley for instance, only did a limited amount of amateur white collar. Do you know what I mean? His experience prior to the pro game was very limited. Someone like Delicious, with the pedigree that he's got, gold medals in Commonwealth, gold medals in European Games, he doesn't need that much. I understand your first couple maybe slowly breaking you in because it is the bright lights and everything. But that's regardless. He should be dealing with someone like that in the heavyweight division, whether he's a massive puncher or not. If he hasn't got the devastating right hand to put him to sleep instantly, the volume of punches should have been coming. There should have been flurries that the referee had to step in. And he is at that level. There's no excuse for that to me.
That is exactly what I'm getting at when I'm mentioning the likes of an AJ debut, a Joyce debut, a Dubois debut. Those guys got the debut out of the way because it was volume. They knew the guy wasn't supposed to be in there with them. It was it's a fight. What your promoter, you are the big name. You are there. Everybody's there to see you in that fight. They don't even know the opponent. I can't remember the opponent's name right now. you know what I mean? That opponent is picked for you to show up and show out. And for me, like I say, there's debut is about getting people excited about you. You get those guys out of there. People don't really want to see you, especially as a heavyweight. People aren't bothered about your jab, your right hand. Also, they want to see power. They want to see you get in there, ferociousness, and then later on in your career, you can start. You know, once you get 3-4 fights and you get rid of those fighters who aren't supposed to be in there with you, when your competition steps up, when you step your competition up, for me, that is when you start to use your jab, you start to use your footwork, you start to use your right hand, get your right hand into play. These early fights is to get us as fans excited about you. We want to see you, want to see what you do next. And unfortunately for him, he sort of failed to do that. But the good thing about boxing is you get another chance. You came away with the win. Like I said, the one good thing to come out of that fight is he didn't lose. That's what he could take out of that fight. He didn't lose. He got the win, and he moves on to the next. And I'm sure Frank is going to put him in there with another opponent. What he should be able to get through and probably look better against. They might put him in there with someone who will probably stand a bit more and be willing to stand with him rather than moving around the ring so much. But I think
he's in very safe hands.
Well, just took the words out of my mouth. Very safe hands with Grant Smith.
Myth is a great coach.
Grant Smith was telling him in the corner. It's not as if he didn't have the instruction in the corner of how to go about the fight. Grant Smith was saying, no respect. Don't show this guy respect. You get your high guard up, get in on the inside and work. That's what I want from you. And he tried to do it in the last round and a half. He tried to do it. I think it was just a bit late. You've got the 4 round fight, and it's a bit late to start then. The survival mode the guy was in, you wasn't going to knock him out in the last round when you just started to put pressure on. You didn't do enough in the first 2 rounds to make him worry. You know what I mean? You didn't even test his gas tank. The guy was out of shape. For me, the body shots should have been raining in, a lot more body shots. I think he should have left his head alone because his head movement actually wasn't bad. The guy's head movement wasn't bad. I think the body shots is where he should have started. But he moves on to the next one. And we'll see what he's got. We'll see what he's got next.
Yeah, we will see more from Delicious. I've got no doubt about that because of how much how much is they've put into him. Do you know what I mean? To make a start. Next fight going on is the Jack Rafferty and Corey O'Regan fight, mate. What did you reckon to that?
Right. I you know what? You told me about Corey O'Regan and that he was a good boxer and whatnot. He was obviously moving up in weight this first time, I think, at lightweight. This fight, was it super lightweight, this fight? I think it was super lightweight for the first time. 140, he's moved up. And for me, he boxed really well. I thought from the first round, his movement was on point. He was sort of pot-shotting. And Rafferty wasn't really doing much. He was following him around, trying to close distance. But Corey O'Regan's footwork was on point. I thought his punch selection was brilliant. I thought he was having a really good fight. Obviously, we know the moment that the fight changed. For the first time of the night, I thought this referee, we're talking about referees again on another card. That's happened. Yet again, we're talking about a referee's decision making and how they go about it. We need to have a conversation on what we need to do with referees in boxing right now, and I think referees being assessed more often needs to happen. Absolutely. I think we need. I don't know whether the British board or whoever needs to. They need to get younger referees in there. They also need to get bigger referees in there when we're talking about heavyweights. But we'll get onto that after. But I've got before you go, I've got the little clip here of when for me when the fight changed. We've got it here. Load up. So what we've got here is they're in the clinch. Yeah, I'll just rewind it because you can't see it. They're in the clinch there. The referee here bats down O'Regan's hand. And I don't know why referees insist on touching fighters. They shouldn't be touching the fighter. Your instruction should be clear and precise. Break, stop punching, step back. Those are three things you can say that nothing can come back on you. Instead, O'Regan is here in the clinch, holding the referee, bats his hand down where he's pinning Rafferty's right hand. Rafferty lets the right hand go as soon as the referee moves O'Regan's hand, and for me that was the changing of the fight. That is where the fight completely changed. Rafferty then was severely hurt. I don't think he ever survived. Not Rafferty. O'Regan was hurt. I don't think he ever recovered from that. I think he survived quite well on instincts. I still thought he boxed really well on instincts. Whilst hurt, I thought he boxed very well. But Rafferty did what someone should do when you've got your opponent hurt, and he capitalised on it. He used the body work, went to the body a lot, and obviously O'Regan's corner thrown in the towel. I think that was probably the right thing to do with how hurt he was. He started finding it hard to defend himself. But that, for me, it deserves a rematch. I think it's either O'Regan wants a rematch at that weight, because I know that's not his natural weight. He moved up for that fight. Or O'Regan could take this loss, move back down to was it lightweight? Move that back down to lightweight and go through the British scene at lightweight, because that performance he put on before that happened, I was very impressed.
Corey, I thought it was brilliant for the
Good evening. Good evening, Monday.
All right. Corey really impressed me. I think one thing needs to be mentioned as well is that the size difference. Rafferty looked huge in there.
Massive.
Looked like he dwarfed Corey at times. Certain camera angles, it was like you could see Corey and then you could see the outside of Jack coming forward. like you've just said there, and with that clip, the tap down of the arm from the referee, forcing Corey to drop his guard. Rafi's capitalised, whether he knew about it or not. Maybe he was just throwing that punch anyway, and it's a coincidence. Rafi was a big puncher going in there, a lot bigger puncher than O'Regan. If you imagine, well, I suppose that bit more or less happened in a way in the main event with TKV and Adelaide. But what I was going to say is, in a bigger weight division, if that happens, if that arm gets tapped down and then you're getting caught by a massive puncher, you can talk serious injury there. The punches where you don't have a defence or you don't know what are coming are the worst punches in boxing. Regan did really well to recover. Corey did absolutely fantastic to recover for that and continue to then be on his feet and box. Catch me if you can. We need to do. There needs to be. We've said this before in previous shows. To me, that referee should have to have an interview and answer for this, as to what he's doing or why he's doing, or what rule states that that's what you do or what you don't do, because you can't then not do that in another fight. The next fight then can't come on and the referee's just saying break, step back, and he's got his hands to himself. How is that fair? It doesn't make sense. We've got to have a playing level for all refereeing, for all judging, because this is maybe the fourth show in a row we've done where we've had to unfortunately slate the performance of an official.
Every show, it seems to be. It seems to be every show. There's at least one refereeing decision, one referee performance where you just think, I don't understand this. As a boxing fan, you're watching it, and I even as a boxing, we'll move on to the TKV stuff in a second. But as a boxing fan, when you're watching and you look and you're thinking, because at first I didn't actually see him pat Corey's guard down. I just thought Corey got caught coming out of the clinch on his own, and I was like, why did he leave his hand? Because he was really defensively really sound throughout.
His head movement was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really sound, and it was like, oh, that was a lapse of judgment, and you can't do that against a big puncher. But then when you see the clip and you see the replay and you see the referee pat his arm down, which is crazy, is his guard. If you feel like Corey is holding, tell Corey to stop holding himself. You need to tell him to stop holding. Yeah. If he's holding, break him. We'll give him a warning for holding. Do what you need to do. Tell him off. Do what you need to do. But what he did was he patted his hand down, which then relaxed Corey, because Corey's when your arm is patted down, you're thinking, right, break. But he didn't even give him. He gave him a split second, because as soon as that arm stops being pinned, when the referee patted his hand down, Rafi let the right hand go. The moment his arm got free from being pinned, he let the right hand go, which for me, that was in aid of the referee, aided that. I think yet again a bad performance from the referee. Like you said, the referee should come out and say and explain themselves. They should have to explain themselves. But the board, it is similar with football. Referees make decisions, VAR make bad decisions, and then all you get is the authorities making excuses for them, which is the worst.
Like football, you say you'll get the comments tomorrow. Scouser shouldn't have had that penalty. Right. Yep. There's your team it's behind you there. Okay. It's irrelevant. That could have knocked Corey unconscious, and he may never boxed again. He'd have certainly had to have 28 days before he could box again, and then get a review. It's very different when it comes to boxing, and scary, really. And like I've just said before, we've got to be on a level playing field. We've got to be judging the same. We've got to be refereeing the same. That moves us on to, like you said, bigger referees. And if anyone didn't understand that comment, as a referee, you've got to be able to. I can speak a bit more freely on it, because I did partake in like my referee's course in amateur boxing. You've got to be getting in there and splitting the fighters up, especially when it's a tangly, messy fight. You've got to separate them. It's your job as the boxer to defend yourself all the time. We all know that. That's your main basic role, okay? But on the break and step back, it's also your job as the referee to try and prevent any punches coming after them. Like the shot with Irish lad after the bell.
Yeah, Paddy Donovan and Crocker.
Donovan shouldn't have been near each other. Shouldn't have been near each other by that time. You've got to be willing. When that clapper goes, it's not only for the fans, it's not only for the corners, it is also for the referee to be aware of the timing in that ring to get closer to separate the fighters on the bell.
Yeah, that moves us right onto Jamie TKV versus Adelaide. Yeah, again, the referee. I thought, we'll talk about the fight first before we talk about the controversy on that. The fight itself, for me, we was messaging each other through the fight. You have a bugbear with TKV.
Sorry, I thought he was going to mention the debt he was into me.
I feel like that. I got a notification saying that our bet was voided due to the controversy.
All bets are off.
Due to the controversy of the ending of the fight, I just got a notification saying that the bet was void. that's
Listen, mate, the bet should be void on performance alone because it was shy. It was terrible from both fighters, wasn't it?
Well, I kind of called how the fight would go. It went very similar to Jamie's previous fight, where he jabbed to the he jabbed and closed the distance. Jabbed, closed the distance. He would throw the right hand in there. Me personally, I think he was winning the fight in an uneventful fight. Adelaide wasn't doing anything but looking for one punch, and he was looking for that one punch, but wasn't even doing anything to set the one punch up. It was a scrappy, horrible fight. As you can see, I've got a couple of clips to show here. I think this is the first one I need to show. So we've got them in the clinch here, which this was how most of the fight was. This is literally most of the fight. We've got them in the clinch here. The referee shouts break twice, and then TKV throws a shot after once the referee says break twice. I think Adelaide stops punching. TKV throws a shot. But this is where the inconsistencies in referee comes, and this is what happens when TKV throws a shot. So we've got TKV throws a shot when the referee says break. The referee then stops, asks Adelaide, "Are you okay?" He warns Jamie. He tells Jamie, "I said break, no punching." He tells him off. Jamie apologizes. The fight moves on. In the very same fight, a round later, we've got it here. We've got it here when I've got it set up. You've got referee shouting break twice, and then he pats Jamie's hand down. As he said break, he pats Jamie's hand down, telling Jamie to get off. As he pats Jamie's hand down, Jamie takes sort of separates himself. Adelaide lets go of the left hook, knocks Jamie down. What I can't see in this is there is no difference from Jamie doing this to Adelaide doing it. So I'm not blaming David Adelaide at all here. My issue is the referee's decision making. Because in the first clip, the referee stops the fight, bearing in mind, Adelaide took the shot, he was still standing, he was fine. The referee stops Jamie, tells him off. He asks Adelaide, "Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you okay to continue?" Adelaide says, "Fine." The difference here is this happens, and what the referee does is he instantly he sort of looks at David and then looks at Jamie. He's so indecisive in that moment, he just starts counting, which is strange to me. Like, the exact same thing happened a round before, but the other way around. Why are you telling why is that not you give Jamie 5 minutes to recover, because that's what it should be, and you tell Adelaide off like you did Jamie. I don't understand that.
And this is, again, it's just the inconsistency in boxing.
For me,
do you know what? I will say.
For that happening in the same fight, a round apart, just finish this. For that happening a round apart, for the referee to be so far apart in the decision making of what he did in the first, in one round to the next round, for me, that's incompetence. It has to be.
Yeah, absolutely. That fight needed controversy. It needed a table flip at the start, and it needed this in between now for the rematch, because it was terrible. It doesn't warrant a British title fight. No chance at all. We've already said this previously, on air and off air. I don't think anyone in the nation has complained about Dave Allen versus Johnny Fisher for that British title. Now that's where that heavyweight title should be going, not to these two. It was very, very poor. Shout out to Rico there. Big up to iBoxingHub North. Thank you, boss.
Yeah, we're moving. Thank you, Rico, for our super chat. What's CJ? Tell him shut up, bro. I'm speaking now, but obviously it's in Yorkshire. Oh yeah, go on. Go on, CJ. Shut up, Rico.
Top man is Rico. Top man. The performance, again, the controversy is leading us to a show where we're hopefully going to get a referee on, a gold star referee, done Olympic boxing. So he really, really does know what he's talking about, because we need to sort this stuff out. We need to find out from a referee, from officials, what is going on, because these decisions of big fights, some of them are ending because of the official, because of the referee, because of poor judging and scorecards. This needs answering for, because if a boxer wins a fight and he pops at the end of it, the world comes down on him, okay? Or if a fighter does something wrong in a fight, the world comes down on him. Judges aren't having to answer to anything. Referees aren't having to answer anything. Jamie TKV there, it's no secret in heavyweight boxing that David Adelaide is a big puncher, and he's aggressive and he's nasty. He has big punches with bad intentions. Jamie TKV could have been knocked clean out with that punch, and I'm sure many people in sparring have been knocked out with that left hook. And like you say, the inconsistency of it, it's as if he has a quick look, then starts to count, not thinking, hang on a minute, I just tapped his arm down there, and I've made the split second pause from TKV, thinking that they're going to have a break and a step back. Nothing's been said about it, and other than the controversy little headlines that you're having. Again, no one's interviewed this referee. You've not had anyone from the British Board of Boxing Control making a comment about it. I'm on the British Boxing Board of Control email list through thing. I get to see certain things. Not heard anything, not seen an email about anything, and it's shit, really.
Yeah, I also I think Barry Barry Smith, his trainer, he was saying, ref, you called break. You called break. And the referee blatantly said to Barry Smith, no, I didn't. He said, no, I didn't. And it's like, bro, we see you on video in 4K. You say break twice. Jamie is still throwing little punches to the liver. But then you then go to the next level of tapping his hand yet again, like in the fight before, the referee touching a fighter, allowing a fighter to believe that you're breaking the action, so there's no more punches to be thrown, and you do nothing about it. I think the referee turning around and saying, "Oh, I didn't say break," is ludicrous, and just for that comment. Just for that comment, it should be penalised. Even even going to when he stopped the fight, the knockdown wasn't even a knockdown. It was a tangle, and Jamie ended up falling over because he still wasn't recovered properly. Adelaide didn't land any shot for Jamie to go down. Jamie went down through, I think, obviously he's already hurt, but Adelaide didn't land any shot to put him down. The referee then proceeded to wave the fight off, which, yet again, like O'Regan, I think the turning point of the fight was both fights was referees' decisions, and both those guys are going away with a loss on the career on the record.
And
when
it
there was
changes
winning
everything.
time.
Yeah,
Adam?
absolutely, mate. There's a few comments from Rico. I think you need to catch up on us.
Oh yeah, here we go. What's this? Wait there. David was getting his ass handed to him. Yeah, well, that's strong. David was losing the fight. David was certainly losing the fight. I don't know about ass handed to him, but he was losing the fight. I think. Yeah, shout out to Goat Warren. You know what? Yeah, shout out to Frank Warren, because I've seen an interview with Frank Warren after, and he came out and said, David is with me. David Adelaide is my fighter. But what the referee did, you heard him say break twice. You also saw him move Jamie's hand, and then David lets go of the left hand. Again, I'm not blaming David Adelaide at all in this. The same way Jamie did it in the round before. But for me, the referee even messed up even more, because you saw this happen once already a round before, that when the fighters are in close and you're shouting break, they're not listening to you. Clearly, they're not listening to you. So you then need to adjust how you're refereeing this fight of, right, if I'm saying break and you're not listening, I'm going to have to get in there and say, right, get away and pull you apart together. Like, get in between you, step back, no punches. Because once a referee puts herself in that line, a fighter throwing a punch, they're more than likely going to hit the referee, and no fighter wants to do that. So
something needs to be done about it, mate. Something absolutely needs to be done about it. I think we're ready. Jump on to the main event, which was Joe Joyce versus Filip Hrgović.
Yeah.
Literally, it's what we said. Hoping that Joe Joyce was going to sort of wind back some sort of clock. Hoping that we'd see a Hrgović that we'd heard of. Really, I mean, he's never lived up to my expectations, but certainly see a Hrgović that, again, maybe wound back the clock. Crucial fight, massive fight for both of them. Both, well, I'm going to say coming off losses. Joyce has come off some terrible losses. He's got to stop boxing. He is absolutely 100% got to stop boxing. Joe Joyce's health cannot be 100%. He needs to have his license reviewed. He needs to actually go see medical professionals, I think, because, I mean, when I did my boxing licenses, quite a big segment on one of the days was what's now being brought out as pugilistic dementia, which is a form of dementia from repeat hits to the brain, complete shakes to the brain. If there's going to be a poster boy for that in 10 years, you could bet your bottom dollar that Joe Joyce is going to be that man. He's slowed down in his... I mean, for a slow fighter, his movements have become even slower. He's stiff. He looked like he was stumbling a lot through the fight. He leant over his front foot, chipped over his front foot. And then, of course, his actual speech in general is slower than a snail. Like, he really needs to be looked after by somebody, because if he then goes on, we said off air, I said off air, I could see Atoma fighting him. I could see that in 2 fights, and Joe Joyce taking that for the payday. With what it sounds like, Atoma having that knockout concussive power, and Joe Joyce's defence being his head, no hands, he's going to cause him some serious damage. Somebody has got to be the braver man for Joe Joyce and stop what's happening, because it isn't right. I really don't believe it isn't right. And just to add to that, I don't think Hrgović showed anything. I think Hrgović beat an already beaten fighter. Hrgović wants that rematch with Dubois. He's going to get his ass handed to him, more so than the last time.
Yeah. God, my review on that fight was, you saw, for me, Joe Joyce looked less shocked than I thought he was, but that's simply because he was still taking the shots. Let's take away the fact of he can't defend himself or whatever. He was still holding the shots. He didn't look like he was wobbled too much. But that, I think that might have more to do with Hrgovic's lack of power than Joe Joyce himself. Like you said, Joe Joyce couldn't get away from the right hand. He got hit so many times clean. He can't. For me, there's a point. If Joe Joyce is, I don't know if his chin is. He's still got a chin clearly, but a lot of referees would have waved that fight off a lot of times when Joe Joyce was taking so many clean shots and wasn't protecting himself. It was only because Hrgović gassed out after 2 or 3 rounds that Joe Joyce stayed in that fight. Because Hrgović looked spent after 3 rounds. And then it allowed Joe Joyce to come on, be on the front foot, let off shots, catch Hrgović quite a few times. But yeah, Joyce is, for me, he shouldn't be boxing. I think when you've got fighters who's left the game and they're struggling with a speech. Joe Joyce is doing that now. He's been doing it for the last 1.5 years, 2 years. He's been struggling with his speech. Obviously, he's not the brightest spark, you know what I mean? But it's visible. It's really visible right now how he speaks. I worry for him. Like you said, if they wanted to feed him to a Toma, looking at Yorkshire. if they're looking to feed him to a Toma, I think Joe Joyce needs to retire before that happens. I don't think it's fair for a fighter like Joe Joyce. No, for him to go in with a puncher. He went in with Hrgović, and Hrgović is not a puncher, and he kept getting tagged, big shot after big shot after big shot. If he gets put in, we saw it with Zhang. He gets put in with a Toma, and a Toma lands clean. He's not getting through that fight, and it might be worse. It might end up being worse for him. Hrgović. My thoughts on Hrgović is he's fringe contender at world level. I don't think he beats anybody at world level. Do you know what
shocked me is? Do you remember the interview before the presser? And Hrgović said the fog, you slow like fog. It was when Hrgović was like, "You are 8 years older than me." I thought, fucking no way. Like Hrgović don't look a young fresh chicken in there at all. I think he's got no gas tank whatsoever.
Zero gas tank. Like I said, if any other fighter was in there with Hrgović that's worth any weight, Hrgović would have got stopped in 5 rounds. Because Joyce could have stopped him. The problem is Joyce's defense didn't allow him to let go of the shots what he needed to, because every time he got in close, or he was getting in close to let go of shots, he was getting tagged. And if you're throwing and you're getting tagged, the purchases on your shots, there isn't any. There's no purchases on your shots. He was wild. I think Hrgović, I don't know who he fights next. I think if he fights Caballel, he gets beat.
It's a good win for Caballel, that though. That'd be good. That'd be very good for him.
If he fights Caballel, Caballel will get his 3rd stoppage in a row to the body, or is it his 4th? Caballel it'll be his 4th. It'll be his 4th because I think that Makhmudov, whoever his name.
In with the twitch.
That
twitch
to the body. Yeah. Him who looks like him off of Game of Thrones.
The mountain.
The mountain, he stopped him with the body, he stopped Sanchez to the body, he stopped Zhang to the body. I think if he fights Hrgović, that will be his 4th victim to the body, because Hrgović has 0 gas tank, and if you go to his body, he will be done. He'll be completely done. It's similar to Zhang. I think Zhang's just more of a dangerous fighter than Hrgović. But both of them, the gas tank is awful, absolutely horrendous. But moving on, I really think Joe Joyce should retire. Hrgović, I don't know where he goes next. I think they probably will feed him to the likes of Caballel. I think he probably will get fed to him. Moving on, we've got we've got 10 minutes left. We'll just touch on Katie Taylor
KT.
and Amanda Serrano. We have the trilogy. Katie Taylor going into this trilogy. Rico says, great
Thank
show,
you, brother.
guys. We appreciate it. We appreciate that, Rico. Going into the third fight, Katie's 2-0 up. I thought Amanda nicked the second fight, but the judges went Katie's way. This third fight, Amanda wanted 12 rounds, 3-minute rounds. She keeps saying that extra minute, if she got that extra minute, that she would knock Katie out. Where I massively disagree. Just before we carry on, we've got Ricky in the building, our new member.
Ricky and Ricky and. I'll tell you what, as well as if I can just, I promised him this anyway before he decided to jump on board and be the member of this movement. Ricky's son, Leonardo Hand, is going to be a fantastic boxer. He's fighting on the 12th, if I'm right, Ricky, or the 14th. I do apologise for getting it wrong. At Empress Show, I think it's his first bout. He's had skills bouts before. I've never met a more dedicated fighter. I've never met a lad who's more ripped up to death at his age. He puts most men to shame. But on a genuine note, this is not just because I love Ricky to bits and I've worked with him. Leonardo is a fantastic boxer, and if he sticks at it, he will be one that iBoxingHub needs to sponsor, and we can push him forward, and we can all retire when we're 40. Not you, Rico, because you're about 45 anyway. But me and Ez and Ricky might be able to retire.
Listen, this what like we said, we've had conversations. We've had conversations with Ricky as well. Our goal with doing this podcast and doing stuff is to just shine a light on boxing in the north, in Yorkshire. Shine a light on the amateurs coming through, the pros coming through. We just want to give anybody who wants an opportunity of exposure, to get the name out there. We want to give you an opportunity because up north at the moment, boxing's thriving. There's a lot. The gyms are full at this moment in time. Everybody wants to box, and there's a lot of good amateurs coming through. So we are more than happy. iBoxingHub, Crossroads in boxing. Just iBoxingHub North. We want to give people a light. We want to shine a light on these fighters coming through. If you're a young fighter coming through, listen, we'll interview you. Get used to doing interviews. It will help us and it'll help you as well move forward. But that's our aim, is just shine a light and give everybody else an opportunity. The same way Rico and Trey and iBoxingHub has give myself, CJ and Ricky now give us an opportunity to do this, give us this platform to do this podcast. We want to do the same to other people. We want to give them a bit of light and give them opportunities, get them sponsorships. If they get the name out there, there'll be people who want to sponsor them as well. So that is our aim. There's
a few comments there.
Before we start, there's a few comments there. We've got Ricky who said, the war of the rhinos, in Rico's words.
You learn to ignore Rico, mate, as time goes on.
I told him. We've got WCS in the building, iBoxingHub, afternoon, gents. Nod to Serrano in the trilogy. Yeah, he's got Serrano in the trilogy. Big up to WCS. Thanks for joining.
Big up WCS. Thank you, mate.
Ricky says United. Yeah, I've just checked the result. I appreciate that because I saw us at 1-0 down and I've jumped on here and I've ignored it. But yeah, it's good to know the good news.
Can we keep shit football teams off this podcast, please?
Yeah, he meant Man United, not Leeds United. Sorry.
With Mum, shout out to Mrs. Spay. Amanda definitely nicked the last fight. Sorry, not sorry. Mum, listen.
Yeah, I agree.
If you fight out.
I agree. I thought Amanda nicked it, but I'm not mad because right now she's annoying the hell out of me. What else we got in the chat? Mr.
got Mr.
Neutral
Neutral.
says, evening lads. Also says, Amanda couldn't beat her over 2 fights. I'm not sure what she does differently to win. It's a big question. Katie might just be that fighter that has her number. But we're not used to Katie trash talking or anything like that, but we have got a funny clip from Katie and Amanda. I'll just play. Let's see if it plays. I'm gonna try and play it. Here we go. Hopefully this plays like I want it to. Let's see. We've got through all the show without technical difficulties. Let's see how we do.
You jinxed it, brother.
Come on, don't do this to me now.
I'm in the driving seat here. At the end of the day, Amanda needs this fight a lot more than I do. A lot more than I do. I have a long history of big fights against big names. And
you shook on it, not knowing if I was gonna win or lose, Katie. I respect you, and I will continue to respect you in and out the ring, Katie. But we did shake on it, not knowing. And if you say that it's you call the shots, you could have called the shots that day. You shouldn't have shook my hand if you wasn't gonna.
You need this fight a lot more than I do, Amanda.
You know that if we have an extra minute,
if you come off that head,
right, we'll just stop it there. Amanda's just said, you know, if we had an extra, did you hear? Go on.
Got that. Amanda's coming off there saying, if there's an extra minute in these rounds, I stop you. Basically, Katie Taylor's comeback is, you haven't stopped anybody in your last 2 fights. How many people have you stopped in your fights? Basically, Serrano hasn't got that power to stop Katie Taylor. All right, Katie. Hang on, I'm trying to fill in the gaps.
I needed to hear Katie's bit again. I missed it. I needed to hear that again. Go on. Can you go again?
You haven't stopped anybody in your last 3 fights. How many people have you stopped? 0. She says 0 like that, all right? Katie Taylor knows Serrano's not got the power to stop. I'm just trying to fill in the gaps for everybody as realistically as I can. My mum's comment there. Katie Taylor will just headbutt her again. That's from her mum. I think that was very realistic.
Mandy, here we go. Mandy, you've started something here, and you're going to get Rico agreeing with you now, because he keeps going on about these headbutts. This is boxing. When a southpaw and an orthodox fighter fights, it's very natural that you're going to get headbutts. It's very natural. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If Amanda feels like Katie is headbutting her, you need to change your game plan, because you've gone into both fights with the same game plan. You keep throwing the same shots, which in something, and Katie's not getting warned by the referee. Nothing is changing in the fight. You need to do something to change that. You can't keep complaining, saying, I'm getting headbutted. Change how you're fighting, because you are putting your head in a position to get headbutted. You're not changing anything. So this whole headbutting thing, I think people are just forgetting that the fact that Amanda's a southpaw, Katie's a southpaw. They're both inside, mid-range to inside fighters. They both like to let shots off in combinations, and a clash of styles will always happen, and you will probably get tangling of feet a lot in a southpaw versus orthodox. Clashes of heads, it happens. Mr.
Big up
Mitchell
to
said,
Trey, mate.
You don't. Yeah, big up Trey. Yeah, massive big up to Trey. Him and Rico, they support us wholeheartedly through this, so we appreciate you both. Yeah, like I was saying, Mr. Neutral said that he's not sure what Amanda can do to win the fight. I thought she won the second fight, so I think there is things she can do to win the fight. I don't think Katie's unbeatable. But I will be saying that I hope Katie wins this fight, and this whole thing of Amanda and Katie can just be done with, and Katie can go off in the sunset for me, because she is the trailblazer of women's boxing. I think
Absolutely.
right now, what Jake Paul's doing for women's boxing is absolutely amazing. The fighters he signed in the last week, I think he signed like 8 fighters, big names as well in the last week. I'd like to say, congratulations and big up to him. Massive big up to Jake Paul for doing that. I'm not a massive fan of him when he gets in the ring himself, but as a promoter and as a promoter of women's boxing, I think he deserves all the praise in the world for doing that and putting these ladies on and putting them on a platform like Netflix, so they can be seen. So I just want to say a big up to Jake Paul for that.
I want to say, why is Rico not commented on my Katie Taylor accent? I'm offended. I think you need to go and have a word with yourself, Rico, because that was upper class quality that you don't possess. My mum's next comment is, I can't believe I'm on here saying my mum's next comment. I'm going to pretend it's not. I'm going to say, I've got a comment here from Mandy Spate. Did you say the same about Josh Warrington and he was a butter? Lol, just asking. I think that's to you, Ez.
Yeah, Josh Warrington. Listen, I say the same thing. People know what they're getting into when they're fighting Josh Warrington. Get your head out of the damn way. You can't go into a fight. No, if you go into a fight knowing someone has a big right hand, you're not going to put yourself in the position to get hit with a big right hand. You know just how Josh Warrington fights. You need to get yourself out of that way and make sure it's one, protect yourself, and two, as you're fighting, make the referee. Your corner needs to make the referee aware of it, because I've heard time and time who was it who fought him, and they just kept shouting at the referee, telling him about the headbutts. I can't remember who he fought, but they had the corner just consistently telling the referee, like, you need to protect yourself. For me, you know what kind of fighter you're getting in the ring with. You then need to get your game plan on point so you don't put yourself in those positions to get headbutted. That's my answer to that.
To be fair,
what's Mandy said again?
And I felt honoured to do so. I think she's a pioneer of the sport. There's no doubt about that. There is no women's boxing without Katie Taylor. There's obviously women before that, like Jane Crouch, Stacey Copeland. There's names like that you can never forget. But certainly for your big events, actually putting women's boxing on the map, putting money up on women's boxing, putting main events, full women cards that I've had the pleasure of being to down at Royal Albert Hall. Not that it was in London and that was a pleasure, because that was fucking horrific. The fact of actually going to see a woman's card was fantastic. And none of that happens without Katie Taylor. Unfortunately, I do feel like she very, very much is on her last legs, in the sense of she's showing her age in the ring, that flair's not there. The flurries don't have the same sort of pace and electricity. Yeah. But I'd still think she has more than enough to beat Amanda Serrano. And that's saying something, because Amanda Serrano is a fantastic boxer and has done exactly the same. You nailed it on the spot, Ez. I do believe that Serrano has just met a match in Katie Taylor.
Yeah, I feel that's how it is. I rate Amanda as a fighter. I think she's a very good fighter. I think at her weight. Also, I am gonna give her this. Like, she is fighting at 140. Amanda's not a 140 fighter. That's one of the reasons why I don't believe she can knock Katie out. She doesn't have the punch at 140 to do that. I think at 130 I think her versus Alicia Baumgardner. Now Baumgardner's signed with Jake Paul. I think that would be a really good fight for Amanda, and I have a feeling that's what they're probably building up to. Hoping Amanda wins this fight and move on to Alicia Baumgardner, big fight, because that's a big fight. That's a very big fight. Serrano versus Baumgardner.
I'm a massive Baumgardner fan.
So as am I. I think obviously she burst onto the scene with doing to Terry what she did to Terry with that shot. So for me, it's a big fight. Ricky says when the referee doesn't sort it, then deal with it. How my man Iron Mike did get tucked straight into that ear. Listen, I'm not advocating for anyone doing anything like that. But
it's funny you should say that, because there were so many times Ricky kept kissing my ears when we were training together. When I was coaching, he'd come whisper and kiss my ear, and I'd be like, "Ricky, give up, man! Stop doing that."
Was you a headbutter as well?
No, it was an ear licker. It was Ricky.
But yeah, that's. I think that's all we've got for this week. Next week, hopefully, Ricky's free. Ricky's got his laptop sorted, and we will have a third panelist next week. It will be myself, CJ, and Ricky on next week. Hopefully, Ricky can say his bit and introduce himself, give his breakdowns on what he's gonna hopefully be doing for us. But we are very happy to have him on board as well. But please, anybody in the chat, share this episode of Crossroad Boxing. If you know anybody interested, any amateurs or any pros interested in wanting to get the names out there, any interviews, we are more than willing to oblige with that and help them out. This is what we do this for, because we enjoy the sport and we just want to talk boxing, really. Any last words from you, CJ?
No, just fantastic show again. On to episode 15 next week. It's absolutely flying through. Every week's an absolute pleasure. The show is 10 times more better when you guys comment. Even you, Mum,
100%.
although you should be in bed. Again, massive shout out to Trey, massive shout out to Rico, our regulars, Mr. Neutral. I know you comment every week. Just brilliant. Thank you. WCS every week again. Fantastic, guys. We don't have the show about you guys, so thank you very much.
No, we appreciate it. It makes it more fun when you get into the chats, getting your comments and get involved in it. It gives us more to talk about as well. We've managed to go 8 minutes over without Rico messaging us in the background saying, cut it off. So we're in control now. We've got the keys. We do what we want. But we'll be back next week, episode 15, and the debut of Ricky Hand. So we will see you next week. Peace. I've got to.
It's another band. All the and cars now, whichever get up. I start my scars with a sweet one bliss. Someone flicks me a bag by the So it's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. It's another one, yeah.